Hi, I'm Scott Wozniak, and I lead a church called Collage just outside Atlanta. And I'm here to talk to you about how I do teaching. See, I teach very differently. In fact, I teach in a way that, as best as I can tell, has not regularly been done in church, for about 1,500 years. We have some long-standing assumptions about how teaching is and ought to be done that really I've challenged, and it's been life-giving for my church. Now, just in case you're worried, I still believe the teaching's got to be biblical. I'm not challenging biblical content. For me, that's an absolute essential. What I'm talking about is how I do the teaching. See, we have this assumption about teaching that, again, for centuries we've been doing, that I call the expert lecturer. It looks like this. I'm the guy, I do serious work and study, I'm an expert. That's an awesome thing. And then I come, and everyone sits down in front of me, and I deliver the teaching to them. Some of you are thinking, that's pretty obvious, that's teaching. No, that's one form of teaching. Now, it's a great form. I'm not opposed to that form of teaching. Jesus did that form of teaching, and I'm currently doing that right now. It's not anti-biblical, but it's not required. In fact, if you look at what Jesus did, you'll see he also did something very different with his disciples. He sat down with them. He told stories. They went on adventures and ministered together and debriefed the process. What did you learn and how did it go? And he asked them great questions. He did a lot more than lecture. And so the Bible says teach, 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 and there are teachers, and it's a wonderful thing. We have narrowed the definition of teaching to this. Now, it makes sense. In the medieval days, when there was one guy in town who could read, his name was the priest, he would stand up and explain what he read out of the book, the Bible, and that would be it. I mean, it makes sense. Nobody else can read the book. But that's not true anymore. Why are we still teaching like they're all medieval peasants and we're the only guys who can read? So we've radically changed the way we do this. And I had this insight, this aha, that really changes entirely the way I think about teaching. I changed my structure. Yes, I mean, you're going to hear some great stuff about content and how to do better ideas and better delivery. Yeah, I learned that. I'm challenging the structure. I literally changed the way my room is set up and the way I arrange it. And now it looks more like this. We get up in small groups. We sit in round tables. I literally set up round tables in our sanctuary. And we have space where after it's time to get ready and we do all the teaching, I stand in front of everybody and I deliver the context. I say, here's the key background you need to know. Here's what the book context is. If there's a Hebrew or Greek word that really matters to the passage, I pull that out and let them know what it is. And so everybody's got the context. And then I get out of the way. And then I've got table leaders who are trained to be at each table, because surely I'm not the only teacher in my church. Why am I the only one who gets to practice my gift on a weekly basis? So we get together and we set this thing up, and they lead discussions. They open the Bible. They have questions to go through. They wrestle with the passage. It's a beautiful thing. See, in this model, I've got to set up one message that hits everybody. I end up with some sort of a middle zone, trying not to get too high or too low so everybody can stay with me. But here they can dive deep if they need to, or go to the basics if they need to. Each table is led by its own leader and is able to go to the level they want to. And the richness and the vitality that comes out of that is, well, sadly, for me, sometimes it's surprising. See, what I've also learned is not only does structure matter, but I've also learned that people usually meet the expectations you place on them. Whether these expectations are high or whether they are low. And I knew back in the day I was worried about this. I thought, really, my people, they're not ready for this. They need a seasoned teacher. And yes, you still need teachers, but I'll tell you, when I have asked of them to step up, I've been delighted to see that they not only go where I hoped they would, they almost always go further. What are your expectations of your people? What kind of structure changes do you need to make so that the same content can take a whole new level of